when did you first kind of felt like, oh, you've made it? How did that feel?
Um, well, in my first season, we won the league, so that was like it was League Two. So obviously, when I got up to League One, that was when I was like, okay, like you're playing against bigger clubs. There was like Portsmouth, Bradford, Coventry. There was big clubs in League One, and I thought then I didn't. I don't think I ever thought, oh, I've made it. I always wanted to get to the Championship, which I never got to. I think yes, I could have had a better career than what I did have. What I missed out on, there was quite a few sort of top end championship clubs that were interested and made offers it when I was younger, and I never the offers weren't accepted, and I never went on to get to probably where I thought I could have played. But then on the same hand, like you see some players who I've played with who are like real good players, and they haven't even played in the EFL. Like they've just been. So I can look at it and go, oh, I've missed out on this, missed out on that. But then I think some people, yeah, might get a bit lucky, but I think on the whole, like you have to work for the opportunity and play well when you get the opportunity. So,
Hey guys, welcome to another episode on Football Business Television where the game gets down to business. The Players Lounge is back in association with Celtic Cornish Brewery as usual. And today I'm joined by a very special character in the football landscape. I like to call it like that because there's a diversity in different way, shape, or form. And I can't wait to have this conversation today. Without further ado, Mr. Callum Johnson, welcome to FBT on the Players Lounge. How are you doing, mate?
thank you. I'm good, Seb. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I can't say I'm great because I'm not gonna lie. I'm not great because I said that would be a lie. But I'm feeling okay. My hip hurts. My knee hurts. So
I can join you there. I think I'll join you in the same boat. I'm younger than you though.
you were kind of kind of way younger than me. But I know you feel my pain and I feel yours. So on that note, we're brothers. How's life treating you?
Yeah, good, good. Just bit of a different venture I started a few weeks ago. So in the coaching side, I've started that. So it's complete different look on things, but all good. Yeah.
What I always want to ask a question to the ex-players that are going into coaching. Simple. What got you into coaching? Because that's something I wouldn't be able to do.
Uh, Good question. I think I did want to stay involved in the game, and there was probably there's probably three like routes I would say: the coaching route, like the TV punditry media route, and then the maybe the agency route. I can't really see it. There's probably those three routes that I looked at because I did want to stay in the game. The media punditry side is probably for like the players who've had better careers than myself, where you've played at the top, like you see them on the TV. They've all played sort of Premier League, the top level. I would have probably liked to have done that, but it wasn't really an option. The agency route, I don't know. I think you'll know as good as me. A lot of agents just talk rubbish. Some don't, some don't, but some do. And I'm quite a straight talker. I'm quite honest. So I don't think that would have suited me. I don't think I'd have been able to be on my phone all the time, texting players, ringing players, all that. So yeah, the coaching route. Um, I thought I'll just give it a go, see how it goes.
Yeah, because you were. That's that's always a conversation that amazes me when I think we've been conditioned. We've been
Mm,
conditioned to after career to only look at three different avenues
yeah,
and nothing else.
yeah,
And it's kind of I said conditioned because as you said, that's the only option that you thought you had. And
yeah,
I kind of see it in a different way because
yeah.
I'm going against the grain, thinking you might end up into coaching, you might end up doing punditry or even being part of an agency.
Hmm.
But I kind of feel that we've been forced and it's not
Yeah,
from our own doing, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get exactly what you're saying. I think it's as well. It's because like that's what most people like. I don't know about what the percentages are, but most players who finish either coach, punditry, more like the top players, and then agents. Like I don't really like. I'm not saying you copy other people, but it's like that's what a lot of players you see retire go into, isn't it? There's not really like you say that you can go against the grain. There's different obviously avenues, but they're sort of the ones that are just like yeah, it's like you say, you're not forced to do it. It's just like that's sort of that's how it is. Like that's what you do. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm questioning that, but I totally get it, and that's why I mean I'm a bit of a rebel, so that's why I went away from that. Even though I'm still doing punditry and stuff, but that became after
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had my own things. But
yeah,
you said something about punditry, which is about the career. You know,
yeah,
those players that had a big career.
yeah,
Not every career, for me personally, is meant to be loud because
yeah,
people keep looking at just the big careers. When you are a bowler, there's you can have a career even at the youth level. This for me is still a career. When
yeah.
a career doesn't have to be the brightest or the most shiny one, but when you look back at your journey so far, do you feel like you've had to build your career more than the most of us?
Um, I think so. I think uh now I've like looked back on my career. I don't like using the word luck, but there is partly luck involved and opportunities and taking opportunities. I think yes, I could have had a better career than what I did have. What I missed out on, there was quite a few sort of top end championship clubs that were interested and made offers it when I was younger, and I never the offers weren't accepted, and I never went on to get to probably where I thought I could have played. But then on the same hand, like you see some players who I've played with who are like real good players, and they haven't even played in the EFL. Like they've just been. So I can look at it and go, oh, I've missed out on this, missed out on that. But then I think some people, yeah, might get a bit lucky, but I think on the whole, like you have to work for the opportunity and play well when you get the opportunity. So I don't think there's many people who you can say like I think most players get to where they deserve to get to.
And when you look at your journey from the academy to the first team, coming through Middlesbrough, which wasn't so far from Newcastle, my first club. How did that shape you as a person and as a player coming through the academy?
Yeah, definitely. Because I was there from a young age. So I was there from when I was like 7 or 8. So I was there for a long time, and it was a lot of parents actually ask me now, like, do you think you need to be in an academy? And I don't think you do need to be in an academy, but I think for me personally, definitely like even off the pitch just as much as on it, just this how strict it was and intense it was. I think that definitely shaped me for my career. It was very strict. I don't know if it is as strict now, but it was very strict and in terms of being on time and morals and respect and everything like that. I definitely learned through coming through Middlesbrough.
Yeah, and that's some core values that for me, whether you make it or don't make it, when you are exposed to those value early those,
Mm,
that helps you throughout your life. And whether
yeah,
it's on the corporate side or whatever you want to do after football,
yeah,
people don't realize how important and how precious
yeah.
those values are. And then when you moved into senior football at Accrington, when did you first kind of felt like, oh, you've made it? How did that feel?
Um, well, in my first season, we won the league, so that was like it was League Two. So obviously, when I got up to League One, that was when I was like, okay, like you're playing against bigger clubs. There was like Portsmouth, Bradford, Coventry. There was big clubs in League One, and I thought then I don't think I ever thought oh, I've made it. I always wanted to get to the championship, which I never got to. But when there was offers coming in from bigger clubs, I think that's when I thought I'm playing first team football. I've got big clubs coming in making offers. Um, and I'm a professional. I think you just think it in the back of your head, but you always want more. I always wanted to get to the championship, and then I'd want to stay there. So I always wanted more. But now I can look back. I've played. I think I can say I had like a decent career at a decent level, and still think like could I have done this, could I have done that? But I think that's just the way we are, and that's how we get there in the first place by always wanting to get better.
Yeah, when clubs comes and knocking on the door, you're thinking like, right, are they coming for me?
Yeah,
After
yeah,
everything I've went through, they're coming
yeah,
for me.
yeah.
It's kind of flattering. But what was I would say, the biggest reality check that you had stepping into the professional football?
Um, Good question. I remember this story. So I'd went on loan to Accrington from Middlesbrough. Obviously, Middlesbrough was they were Premier League, but they'd just been relegated to the Championship. So they were a good, like obviously good facilities. I'd been there all my life. I went on loan to Accrington. I remember turning up and just being like, wow, like obviously the stadium. Now I'm actually going back on Saturday to a game as like a guest, and I love go. I'll really enjoy it. But like I remember going there and seeing like the lads turn up in the cars and stuff, and I was just like, even like the boys at Borough had like, obviously you know what it's like in academies, everyone had like Mercedes and all this, and I remember just thinking like, wow, like this is like real life. And then we went to the first. I think I signed on the Friday, so I was like, just watched the game on the Saturday, and the one it was at Morecambe, and the one I think it might have been 2-1. They conceded in the last few minutes, but they still won the game. And I was in the changes after the game. Like I didn't really know the lads because I'd just signed, and one of like the senior players came in and like started going absolutely mental because they'd conceded in the last minute and he'd lost his clean sheet bonus. But obviously me, I'd come from like youth team, whereas I thought everyone's going to come in buzzing. I'm going to be like around the lads, like get to know everyone. Our class win, boys. And Mark Hughes, centre back, like he was experienced. He'd played like hundreds of games. Came in and like started going mental, and I was like, oh my god, like you've won 2-1, but he was like clean sheet bonus, clean sheet bonus, and I was like, so that, I remember thinking then like, wow, like that was different from academy football.
Definitely difference.
It was
Senior
really buzzing.
football, yeah, it's crazy when you do realize that, okay, it does matter to them. Like, what?
Yeah,
You need time
yeah,
to adapt to this new reality a little bit.
yeah.
And this first season of yours at Accrington when you won the league, just tell me a little bit what was so special about this season, whether it's on a personal level or even as a group, as a collective. But what was so special about this team and this win?
Um, I think well we had the I think it was the lowest or the second lowest budget in the league, and we won the league. And the players we had, to be fair, was like for the money that he'd got some of the players for, went on to, I mean, Caden Jackson got sold for 1.7 million after that season, and that was from League Two. So a few others like 600,000, 700,000. They wanted like the same money from me. I was only like full back 20, 21, and they wanted like 700,000 for me, something like that. Like the money that they were getting for players who, by the way, had been like me. I was like my first season, and other players had been released from different clubs and whatnot, and we just all came together. I can't really explain what it was like. I think there's like someone told me that it's the still in the records for like the least amount of substitutes and the same starting 11 in the EFL history, something like that, where like no one got injured. It was basically the same starting team for 90% of the season. He didn't make subs, so that we'd be like, say we were winning 3-0. You'd think after like 80 minutes he'd bring off like the striker, like rest the striker or whatever. He just kept everyone on, played 90 minutes most games. And like we trained on Astro Turf, and yeah, it was only League Two, but like we trained an Astro at like the community centre. We'd get kicked off sometimes because the community would be coming on, and we were top of the league, beating like Coventry were in League Two. I think Bradford, Luton, like Wickham, no, Portsmouth weren't, but like clubs like, and it was mad. Honestly, it was mad. But the collective, like the team spirit, was unbelievable. Really, really, really unbelievable.
But that's so. Hold on a minute. You didn't make no changes, no substitute. And
Yeah,
you telling me that the team spirit was still good, even though players that were on the bench or not playing that much, they were still
yeah,
on board, and you still managed to win the league. That's how, on a personal level, as human being, that's how good the group used to be, from
yeah,
what I hear. Because when players don't play and they know they're not gonna play, and even when you're winning, you 3-0 up, you still don't come on, and you
yeah.
still
I know.
cheer people up and stuff.
I completely get it. From my perspective, I've never really looked at it like that because I was obviously one of the lucky ones who was playing. So the lads on the bench again were like, no one really had egos because lads had been like released, or young lads like me, like most of the lads on the bench would have been probably young lads like me. Like I can remember a few of them 19, 20, 21 year old, and they're happy to be on the bench. They might play in the cup, they might come on every now and then. Like he didn't make no subs, but I think it's a record for like least subs. So like you say, I think obviously if that was at a bigger club who were on more money and lads with a bit more ego, I think it wouldn't have panned out like that. But I think just because everyone had sort of was a real young team and people that had knockbacks and whatnot, he did keep everyone together. John Coleman. Um, yeah, I've never really looked at it from that front. Actually, now you say it, with the subs who didn't play or didn't come on, yeah, incredible to keep everyone happy. Because obviously later in my career, I've been at bigger clubs who, you see what it's like. I was probably the same when I was, if I wasn't playing. Like I know yeah, it's hard for managers, but in the Accrington team, I don't think anyone really kicked up a fuss, to be honest.
That's the tip you're gonna have to keep for your coaching career coming up.
Yeah, hard,
Trying to keep
hard.
hard
Because like
one.
I would have been a nightmare. I said to Graham Alexander, so it was my when my injury started, and he said because he played like 800 games, and he said because I think like I'd been injured and I'd come back and I wanted to play again, and he said, look, I know. He said like I'd have been a nightmare because he's like, and I think I'd be, if I was a coach, I'd be like find it hard because I'd be like I get it, like how if I wasn't playing or like I've seen it how it's frustrating. But yeah, that's a hard job for a manager, I suppose.
Yeah. And you talked about the bigger club. So you moved to Portsmouth. When you moved to
Yeah.
Portsmouth, which is a bigger club, how did you deal with the expectation? Because with a bigger move, there's always expectation. So were you ready? Yeah. How did you manage those?
Yeah, I think it was probably like a long time coming. I think that previously had offers come in from sort of championship clubs, and it was one of them where I sort of knew a move was going to come. Obviously, Portsmouth is like a massive club, and you straight away were just expected to win. It was a bit of a weird one because it was in COVID that season, so there wasn't fans in, which I think would have got promoted if there was fans in. It's easy to say that. I know it's all ifs, buts, and maybes. We were top of the league up until Christmas, and then all the squad got COVID, so we dropped like a stone. But I love the expectation. When you're walking down the street, like Portsmouth's like a mad place where everyone like it's almost like you're a Prem player. Like even though we were in League One, Portsmouth as a club is probably a Premier League Championship club, like in terms of the size. And you'll just walk down the street like with my girlfriend or whatnot, and like everyone's looking at you like as if you're like. But obviously Accrington, like that didn't happen. Like you could go in the shops at Accrington, no one would know you were. Obviously, there's some fans like, but Portsmouth, I was like, but I loved that. I loved it. Not like in terms of I loved being recognised, but I just loved like the expectation and the, that feeling where you're like, I need to do well. We need to win. I love that.
And when you moved, like for example, to Portsmouth and to other clubs, how quickly did you, at that time, do you realize that football is also a business? Or have you, maybe some of us, they just find out now. So when did you realize that football was a business?
Yeah, I realised when Accrington wouldn't let me go to there was interest from like I've said, there's interest from clubs and I thought, oh, there's interest, so I'm gonna leave. Like I didn't do anything. I just carried on playing like I was only 21. I was like, yeah, fine, I'll move because someone's interested. And then it never happened. And then that was when I realised it's a business as money, like this in terms of they want more money, blah blah blah. And then that's when I realised like there's more to it and there's little I seen a couple of lads you've probably, well, you will have seen it pull off little stunts to force them move through. Which, well, they were older than me, so they obviously had more experience. I didn't. Um, but yeah, I think that's when I saw, oh, actually, there's more politics to. I think they say that it's a business.
And I don't think that players we do. Maybe maybe I'm wrong, but we don't often realize our value and worth in terms of this business model.
Yeah,
When did you realize that you had a value in the market? And how did you even play with it? Because if we're not aware of it, I think it's at our detriment. But we need to know. And did you know that you had a value and how to use it?
yeah. In terms of like value, as in like a transfer fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was when I sort of heard feedback from my agent from the figure that Accrington were asking for me, which I thought was too high. Like I thought that figure's way too high. I'm not worth that. I was like a fullback who I know fullbacks get money now, but in terms of positions like strikers, midfield, even centre backs, keepers, like fullbacks, I just thought the my agent at the time said it was around 700,000 that they wanted for me, and I thought that was I wasn't worth that. But yeah, that was when I sort of realised around what my value was expected to be. Yeah,
Yeah, which is I think we don't it's either end of the spectrum. We either don't know anything about your value and you don't really leverage it.
yeah,
Nowadays, some of them they're just overthinking it and they think, oh,
yeah,
my value is this. I should earn. I think you got to find a balance in the middle ground, but you should know. Players
yeah,
should know that it's a business
yeah,
and that as much as their love for the game is there, you also have to understand this side of the game, that the business side, for me is very important.
yeah, definitely.
And but I want to just shift into this because at the moment my knee hurts so much. You know what? I'm moving like that because oh my days, it's crazy how painful my knees are. And how difficult was it to deal repeatedly with injuries? How was it mentally and physically? How damaging was it for you?
Yeah, it was tough because I never really got injuries, so that was one of my strengths where I could play like every game and I'd play 40 games a season fine, like I was fit. I was like robust, so I never really crossed my mind. Like I always thought I'll play till I'm 35, 40 maybe because I never get injured. And then I all of a sudden started picking up muscle injuries that it just didn't really stop. It just spiraled. So at the start, I just thought I'm a bit unlucky, and then after about five or six, I was like, what is going on here? And I was in quite a bad place. But I thought I can still get out of it. I'll do everything I can. I like massages, ice, whatever it is, recovery boots, acupuncture, all this stuff. I was like, I'm getting it all. So I thought if I cover everything, then I'll manage to avoid it. And then I just didn't, and it just carried on. So it was really tough. Um, Over a long period, I managed to get my head around it. I think because it wasn't like one injury and then or you've broke your leg or you've done this and you can't play football ever again. I think it like happened like over quite a long period of time where I gradually started coming to terms over probably 2 years. This isn't going to stop. Um, so it was tough, but it sort of helped that it lasted so long that I carried on sort of plugging away, playing the odd games here and there, but still coming to terms with the fact I might have to sort of pack in sooner than what I expected.
And that's the point I want to really go into. This moment when you realize retirement might be coming sooner than later.
Yeah.
How how were you in a denial, or were you completely aware that, you know what, I'm so in tune with my body and I've been so robust, now I keep fighting and fighting? How was that moment when you told yourself, you know what, I think that's going to be the end?
Um, yeah, I was in not in denial, but I know what you're saying. I was like trying to keep positive for a long time, and then it was this season. So I dropped down levels wise because I'd had so many injuries. I haven't been able to stay fit for a number of years. And then this season, I said to myself, I'm going to have one more year just to see how it goes. If I stay fit, I'll end up getting back up to League One, League Two, whatever. And then I did my hamstring, and it didn't feel like horrendous at the time, but I knew it was quite bad. And then I got the scan result, and it was a grade 4, which is yeah, which is obviously you'll know it's a complete tear basically, and the tendon like more or less completely tore. So it was surgery, and that was when I sort of realised this could come. And then in the rehab for that, when the rehab sort of wasn't going to plan, and I was keep getting pains, I was just like, look, like I remember actually sitting down and thinking, and I sort of, it was like a thing in my brain, like one day where I thought it, and then the next day I thought it again, and then the next day I thought it, and then it just carried on growing in my head. Like every day I was thinking about it more and more and more. And then I just sat down one day and I was like, this is going to have to happen. Like, this is the decision I'm going to have to make. Even though I didn't really have a decision to make or a choice. Um, yeah, it was tough. Yeah.
Is it easier to say that you because of your body, because this is what happened to me? That's what I took from experience. How do you deal, or is it easier for you to say that my body stopped me? Are you
Yeah.
in? Is it easier to say that to you, to yourself?
Yeah. I think I wanted to go because I could have done it earlier. So I wanted to do it where I've carried on going. So like mentally to me and physically, like it is to me that my body stopped me. Whereas if I'd have done it earlier, I might have been like, "Oh, but well, what happens if I'd have done another year and like I didn't get injured, or what happens if I'd have tried this?" Like I wanted to just try everything and go until the bit where I was like, go until my head said or my body said, like, look, what are you doing? You can't do it anymore. So I think that's helped me mentally, like knowing that my body's sort of given up. Um, Not my brain, because I'm not the type of person who gives up. It was just one of them things where I literally couldn't carry on anymore. So I'm glad I got to that point, because if I'd have done it earlier, I think I might have thought, what if I'd have carried on?
And you would have be very conflictual with your own, I would say, core value of yourself. Like I'm not a quitter,
Yeah,
and that's what sometimes people don't realize, because you're
yeah,
not a quitter. And if you would have done it before, that would have been difficult for you, for your brain, as you said. To say, oh, maybe no, maybe I am. I have quit it. No, so now I think you're kind of in peace.
yeah,
And
yeah.
in this transition process, because it's kind of early, how do you redefine yourself after football? Because when you've been a bowler throughout your life, and even you're young in life, how hard, be honest with me, is it to maybe redefine yourself a part of being a football player?
Yeah, it is hard. I think because well, I think like more so now. I'm not sure about when you played, but the PFA do like I, I'm guessing they do more now than what they did a few years ago, but they might have done the same. They drill at home. You need to be prepared. You need to do it, like they try and get you prepared, but you almost just think, oh well, I've still got 10 years. I've still got 5, 6 years, and then it sort of comes down to it, and it just comes quick, and it is tough. But I think I've managed to. It's early days, like you say, so it is early days, but I've managed to sort of shift my concentration from like everyday it's training or getting back fit or the game or whatever. Now I'm like every day I'm thinking I've got sessions on everyday coaching sessions, so I'm just trying to like keep busy and concentrate on that and do things like this, like speaking to yourself, and keep busy rather than not do a lot. I think that's going to help me get in as much sessions as I can. So I'm like training, coaching for 3 or 4 hours a day, doing things like this, going to the gym to keep fit. I think early days, like you said, but I think it's been a fairly good transition so far.
What is the biggest fear that you might have about this transition? Because I'm into it a couple of years ahead of you, and I've lived it the way I've lived it. But I'm always interested in to ask players question. What do you Why are you scared the most about this whole new thing that you never faced?
Um, I think to me the only thing that I'm a bit fearful of is the missing the buzz from the games and even training, just missing that because I do get a little bit out of coaching the buzz, but do you know like the match day buzz you have when you've got a big game in front of a crowd and it's a must win game and you know you're a bit nervous and you've got butterflies, that buzz and the feeling like after you've won a game, like I don't know if I'll ever get obviously you can get that coaching if you're coaching a team or managing a team and you win or you're a bit nervous before a game, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to replicate that sort of feeling of um, the match day buzz and that bit of nervousness before a game.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's irreplaceable.
Yeah,
It is whatever. I mean, from my personal experience, whatever I do, and I do a lot of things. I go on stage, and that buzz, that that feeling in
yeah,
your gut, I never found it again. And I think you got to come to a certain peace that you're never gonna find. It's like grieving. For me, when you do stop, it's a
yeah,
grieving process.
yeah,
Some people they keep searching, looking after the same thing, and they keep chasing something they're never gonna get. And it's kind of being in a dream mode, denial mode. At some point, when something is kind of a little death, you gotta
yeah,
grieve. There's a grieving period that we all gotta go through because it's been so present into our life that at some point you gotta accept to let it go.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it takes kind of yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while. So don't worry, hang on, be strong. How was your relationship with the fans?
Honestly, in every club, really, really good. Um, I didn't ever towards the end when I wasn't like when I was injured a lot of the time. That was probably the only time where I didn't really get stick. But every time I was fit at a club, fans always liked me and I always got on with them. And I think that was just because I was an honest player. I worked hard, and I was quite consistent player. I didn't really make many mistakes. I was quite like solid. Um, and I always got on with the fans well. It was just towards the end when I was injured a lot that, to be fair, the fans were really good to me. Even sort of Mansfield, Bradford, towards the end when I was injured a lot, um, they were still good to me. I just felt like I wanted to give them more because I wasn't able to because I was injured. But on the whole, can't really. I never really was that player that like did something out the blue or did something wrong and the fans had sort of turn on them. I was just quite solid and always got on well with fans really.
What, in your honest opinion, what do you think fans misunderstand about being a professional?
Um, I don't think there's a few things, but I think from speaking from like myself, I think obviously I go on the injury front. I don't think they realise. I think they think, oh well, a player's injured, he's getting paid, he's not bothered if he's injured. Where they think from a money side, well, yeah, from a money side, that's kind of right. You do miss out on appearance bonuses, win bonuses, so you do miss out on money for one. You miss out on a lot of money if you have to retire at 29 for two, because I missed out on 4 or 5 years of good money. But then, not from a money point of view, like mentally, how many things you're going through to stay fit, like where you live in, if you know your contract's going to run out and you move in and you're trying to stay fit, you're trying to do everything you can. You're not. I don't think they realise that side of it. I think they'll just think, oh well, he's injured, but he's injured again. Oh well, he's not bothered. He's getting paid. Doesn't quite work like that.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And I think fans they're very emotional, and we are emotional as players, but
Hmm.
at some point we're becoming more pragmatic because
Hmm.
that becomes a job, and that so we can't really lead everything with our emotions. Unfortunately, even though the game is very emotional, I think
Yeah.
fans they're on the top of the spectrum in terms of emotion. We have to be more measured and more down to the ground. Now, just to wrap it up a little bit, Callum, when you look back, honestly, are you proud of what you've achieved?
I am, yeah, I am proud of it. I did touch on it earlier where I will think, oh, could I have done better? But then on the same hand, like you'll be the same. You'll have seen a lot of players who are real good players who never got to anywhere near where they should have got to. So I am really proud of it for a lot of hard work that I put in, and I've had unbelievable experiences playing in massive stadiums, won, being promoted, won leagues, um, made some money, made like a living out of my job. So I am really proud of it. I think I feel like I've still got a little bit left in me. Obviously not body wise in terms of playing, but because I'm so young, I feel like I've got quite a lot of energy still, um, which I'm trying to sort of channel into the coaching side of it.
When the fans gonna think about Johnson, what do you want to be remembered for?
Not when I was injured all the time. I want. It's weird because I want to be remembered for being what I was before injury, which was I was never injured. I was always robust. I was always solid. I always worked. I always give 100%, and I was successful. I'd say three promotions, no relegations. Um, I was involved in real good, successful teams, so I want to be remembered for that.
And I'm sure you will. And for all the fans that have been cheering you on the right hand side, bumping on, just remember Callum for that reason. Callum, thank you very much for sharing your insight with us on Football Business Television, the Players Lounge, as always, guys. The last word for your fans, Callum?
Just watch this space. Who knows what can happen in football? Like Seb said, yeah, I'm getting involved in coaching, but anything can happen. So, yeah, maybe back in certain grounds sometime soon, whether that's scouting or coaching or whatever it may be.
So, guys, you got an appointment with Callum. Thank you very much, Callum. That was Players Lounge, as always, on Football Business Television, where the game gets down to business. In the meantime, take care of yourself, guys, and stay fit. It's important. Bye bye.